Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. On the show, I simply give conservative perspectives about the world around me. And I'd like to thank you so much for my listeners. I really greatly appreciate it. I am, as you know, I'm on Anchor, I'm on Spotify, I'm on iHeartRadio, and adjusting that so I can put more episodes on there. I'm on Amazon Music, Audible, and moving forward to put my podcast. I'm on other platforms, but for right now, I've placed my podcast on Overcast and Stitcher, and I am also moving on to the social media realm perspective. I'm putting myself on Minds, so please follow me on Minds. You can find me under the Harboring Light, and please follow me there. And please share this content. I will be greatly appreciated. And thank you so much for listening to me. I really appreciate that. So, what we're talking about, today's topic is healthy communication. Now, with let's get in talking about this now. I think it's important to have that skill to know how to communicate properly. And when you know how to communicate properly, you start to build an understanding of what you say has value, has worth. And you start to have that conscious thought of, I need to critically think about what I'm saying. It just versus just saying whatever I want to say and that's it, and that's the end of it, or what have you. And once you understand the process of how to communicate effectively, you start to build better relationships. You can see that building better relationships personal way. You can see building. I'm sorry, I'm a little tongue tied right now. You can see building better relationships as far as a professional point of view. The list goes on with what can happen if you know how to effectively communicate. And then even in not knowing how to communicate properly, if you want to self-reflect and build yourself to know how to communicate properly, the end results are very different, because you start to realize how things have improved and how things have just become more clear and just simplified, all from knowing how to communicate properly. And I think majority of people, majority of people do understand that, but it's not. I think personally, it's not as many as it used to be, as it could be. Now, it's just a thing of understanding what are the sources behind this, what's going on behind this, why do these kind of things happen, And I think when you start to question those things and you consciously think about that, you start to see, well, okay, how can I, what is, why is in communication so important? Why is it always, someone saying, you need to know how to communicate well in order to do X, Y, and Z. It's important for you to know the process of communication in order to get X, Y, Z, and so on. And when you siphon these things out, you start to get to the real question, I think. And when you start to get to the real question, you start to get to communications is something that you need to see as a skill in order to get better results, in order to get what you need, what you want, in order to move yourself the best that you can and better than you can at most of the times in society, in the world around you, and all of these things. And so I want to break this down even more. So let's say, for instance, you're in a situation and where people just don't understand. They're just not understanding each other. Why is that? Most of the time, I think it leads to not being able to communicate effectively what you want to say to one another, and being confused, and then out of the confusion, just disagreements happen, and so many things happen just from a lack of communication. So let's say, from a business point of view, an employee doesn't feel like they're heard enough, or an employee doesn't feel like they're being valued enough, and they want to talk about this to their boss or their supervisor, what have you, who's ever above them, and addressing this, and things in this particular circumstance don't get resolved. I think if we start to see things from the point of view, maybe the communication wasn't there, and then if the communication is there, what's the type of communication that was going on? Was it one directional, or was it just inferring that you understand the other person or what they're saying, and you're just talking back at them, and you're not really hearing or listening to what they're actually saying? Or is it vice versa? The other person, on both roles, employee, manager, the other person is just have a certain mindset going into the conversation, and they think that whatever this person is saying, just be very concrete, honest things that they're saying, and they're just seeking guidance to get what they need, and they're very open to criticism and all these kind of things. It could be from an employee point of view or a managerial point of view, and they just have these preconceived notions in their mind, that's all well and good, and that's not it. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're just not open up to actually the problem that lies with that is not being open enough to actually hear what they're saying. Just only relying on their preconceived notions. They don't want to go beyond that, and that is the fetus of the purpose of having a conversation, because you're not actually hearing the person. You're just hearing just whatever you want to hear, and that's it. And whatever they say doesn't really matter. So I think it's important to see those things and work yourself with those things, because I think when you understand that, you can know how to process and put yourself in situations and to get to where you need to go, or to end things. So you can have a better mentality about the world around you, a better mentality about people. So, to continue in this situation, let's say from both points of views that on the bad end, that it just doesn't get resolved because they just want to stick to these preconceived notions, and they don't really they don't want to do anything to make their situations better. And then if they hold that kind of mentality, that's gonna hinder them as far as building real relationships and being able to develop their skills, or being able to be a better manager and have better employees and everything else, because they can't move past that. The manager can have people on there and rallying and working and doing everything for the most part, and then things just unravel and go left when they're not seeing that they need to understand different perspectives and see different things from other points of view for what they think they feel or what they think they know. And that's unfortunate. Or employees only thinking one thing about their superior and not being able to open themselves up to seeing things from their point of view, and just being and what they think they want to hear and know, and just being very emotionally attached to what they think and not trying to rationalize the situation. And that's a hindrance to them, because that keeps them from growing, to developing the skills that they need, to knowing people to help them to move further and to their goals and all that. And on the better lighter side of that, when understanding communication, it can help people connect a lot better, and it can also from a psychological point of view help their mental state, because they start to feel that if I put myself in a situation where I really want to understand, and then we're understanding and we're seeing eye to eye and we're making this work, they start to, I think, from both points of view, and I think for a sense of communication and the immense value of communication, they start to realize and understand that words matter, that it's important to say what you mean, and it's important to get over the hump of not understanding and that it's okay to get to these solutions in order to solve issues, and they become everything that you can just see the mentality of the workplace. Everything is just a whole lot clearer, and just everybody just feels a lot better because their tension is relieved. They're not covering carrying this burden with them. They're just not feeling this type of energy in the room. It's just everything's a whole lot better because people are willing to get to that point to have these conversations and to have these communication skills to make things work. And I've witnessed things like this from personal experience and from a professional experience and from an educational experience. So from a personal experience with my family, if we have disagreements, we do all we can to try and understand why are we having this disagreements. What is this spanning from? Like, how can this be resolved? What was said that shouldn't have been said, and how can we get ourselves to a better way of thinking? How can we do this? And then when you want to open yourself up and knowing the value of communication is what's going to really happen to make that, build that kind of relationship, you get really strong families. And then when you have that really strong foundation that leaks into how you view the world, and that leaks into how you see yourself with other people outside of your family. And people start to change themselves around you, right? When I say about change, they start to feel better around you, because some people do, some people don't. There's always caveats to the situation. They start to say, well, I can really be myself around this person. I can really have real conversations with this person. And you start to have this immense feeling that I am being heard. I am being understood. And you start to feel better about yourself. And I think that's very important for families to have, because, you see this, if you want to or not, a lot of people are very broken, and there's a lot of dysfunctional attitudes when it comes to family. And unfortunately, that's represented a lot in media. It's even seen as comedic relief, sadly, at some lights, and when you see the representation of family in the media. And it's just so valuable to know how important it is to communicate effectively, and it's so valuable to know that miscommunication is very effective too, because when you want to open yourself up and understand how to better communicate and want to continue to learn how to better communicate, it can just help so much all around. And from an educational point of view, I studied communication, and I studied communication for the factor of wanted to merge technology and the digital communication together. But I understood very early the importance of effective communication. And then even and when my learning communication and trying to develop that skill, even educators with certain educators, and then it's certain employees that I had along in my past, and I would speak with. We're communicators, but a lot of times we can't communicate well, even though we're in this field. And that's very humbling to say something like that, and to know that the value of communication really matters. And when you get it right, it helps so much. And even in the workplace, it helps a lot too, because it just makes you have a better rapport. Like I was saying already, it just helps. And I can't stress enough the importance of communication. And I think seeing that will help people come together a lot better, and it will help a lot of simple issues get resolved that just unfortunately turns into something big, and that shouldn't have, or it's just very unfortunate. And I think we need to have these conversations in order to come up with better solutions. I'm reaching the end of this podcast. I really hope you enjoy what you heard. This was the Harboring Light. Thank you so much.